Is this thing on?
All right, let's get this show on the road.
Okay. Episode number 98. Doug leaves the podcast.
Am I late? Am I late? Did I make it?
No, you're good. You're good. What up?
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to episode 98. Did you already say
98. 98.
that? 98. Is
That's
that a
right.
picture of your girlfriend behind you?
Oh, you know, they probably won't be able to see it, but let me see if I can. Yeah. She's cute, isn't she?
She's beautiful.
Yeah.
And
I have good taste.
yes, you do. What's going on?
Yeah, well, that lady's going on right now. She's got it going on. Am I right, Grandma?
Oh yeah, she does.
Sorry. What were we talking about?
I'm distracted by that beautiful woman.
To this week has been a lot of like weird thing. It was actually one of those weeks where I had to like take a step back and kind of think about what I did, because it was a lot of random things this week. You know, not a ton of carving time, but enough carving time. Not enough carving time. I want more carving time.
You must have been busy. I didn't hear a peep from you all week.
Yeah, well, I have been. Yeah, so one thing I'll say right off the bat, Sam Loudon won did I talk about this last week, the competition?
Nope.
Oh, shoot. You know, I should have had the picture ready. But he won a snow carving competition, statewide championship for adults, and he's not even an adult.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, and
Wow.
I wish I need to pull this thing up. Oh my gosh, dude, was it cool.
And for the people that don't know, Sam is your little buddy, your little shop apprentice.
Yeah, he's my assist. You know, he's in charge of does the media stuff, so he films and edits videos for the school, and then he also does shop assistant stuff. So we'll like run errands or help me around the shop or clean up or whatever.
But you've had him carving since he was like 13, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, he's done some carving here, but most of the time he's carving at home. But I mean, he's got, you know, he has access to all the content, and he's been filming all of it for so long. It's probably, he knows it better than anyone else, I'm sure, because of that. So, but yeah, here's the front. This is a castle.
Oh my goodness.
This thing is huge, by the way. Huge. I don't know how tall, but, and then look at the back. Look at the dragon on the back of this thing. Isn't that insane?
You must have had the perfect weather, because it would have
There
been
it is. It's pretty big. Yeah, look at the dragon.
Yeah, that's wild.
Isn't that cool? Kid's 17 years old.
Wow.
So he is absolutely awesome. He said after he was done, he's like, man, I didn't know it was going to turn out like that. I was happy with it. So and it's got this hole where the dragon came out of. I mean, it was just so cool the way they did it. But, yeah, so very proud of Sam. So I wanted to say that off the bat. And he's going to the Nationals, which is, or I think it's World Championships in Wisconsin. And he's trying to get me to go over there to head the team up, but I don't know about that. We'll see.
Well, let's talk about that for a second then.
Yeah.
Let's talk about snow carving.
Mm-hmm.
How do you even go about that?
So he's calling them Japanese ice tools. To be honest, let's look it up. Japanese ice tools.
Do they just dump a bunch of snow in a pile for you and say, have at it?
They kind of look like chisels. Yeah, so they look like chisels, and then one of them is a big saw, and the others are like really just chisels. So he said the snow is really like icy, compact, and so it was able to hold a lot of that detail.
Yep.
But yeah, so if I'm understanding, if what he's using is what I'm seeing here, like pretty much across the board, this Japanese ice carving stuff is, they look like a lot like those chisels that you had from over Eastern Europe, from Ukraine.
Yep. Okay.
And just oversized big handle, almost look like oversized lathe tools.
Huh.
And so I think that's what he's using.
Now,
But,
is he experienced in this? Is this just
this is his
has he been
third year
home?
competing
Okay.
competing in this way. So he'll do a clay model. He'll do like a small clay model,
Yep.
and then they'll scale it up, take measurements from that or whatever they need to do, and it's really smart on his part. And you can tell he has been. I mean, I want to take credit for it, but I can't. I mean, I don't know if I could have done that. That is so cool. So he did a great job. And yeah, so funny thing is, we've been enlisting Sam during this time before this sculpture for the school, for a new school. Talked about it on the show before. Fine arts for kids, and he did his first sculpture his first ever instructional sculpture for the class, like a beginner project, but out of clay, out of Fimo. But look how good of a job he did with that.
The trillium.
Isn't that a perfect little kid's project?
Yeah, that's a trillium flower.
No, trilliums have 3 leaves, but I don't know what this is. Maybe a dogwood.
I should know that. That's the flower of Ontario.
Is it?
Yep.
No, but it looks so much like a trillium, just with
Yeah.
more leaves. But anyway, this is like a beginner kids project, probably like, gosh, I don't know, probably be like age 10 in the school. I haven't organized it all yet, but I just, I told him keep it really super simple, painfully simple, and just enjoy it. And that'll show in the videos. And he did a great job.
There's an acronym in there somewhere in there. Fine Arts for Kid. FAFC.
FAFC. Yeah, fine arts. Oh, for kids. Yeah, fine art kids. I don't know. Yep. Who knows?
Yeah, you don't want to go to FAC school.
Yeah, FAF.
This is what here's my snow knowledge for you.
Yeah.
So back in the survival days, a quinzee. A quinzee is not an igloo. You can shape it like an igloo, and you still dig out the inside. But to make the snow more solid, you actually have to mix layers of snow, so that it's called sintering. It will sinter together and harden, because the depth of the snow is all different temperatures from the top to the bottom, and when you mix it, it kind of bonds together, and that gives you a more solid snow. Like you can in some cases just dig into a snowbank, but if you're on a flat, you just you pile it up, but you mix it, and then you just hollow it out, and it stays. So yeah,
that's cool.
Anyway, that is super cool. Good for Sam.
Yeah, so excited for that. Excited for him to be. I mean, he did a good job teaching that. I mean, I'm thinking back to the first videos I did, instructional. I mean, he's just he's a natural in a lot of ways, but he did a good job with the video. And I think it'll be cool for kids to see a young talent too, and be able to relate to a kid who's doing stuff that's really good. And I didn't see that a lot when I was younger, so I think that's going to be fun. And the concert happened this week. So
let's hear all about it. Did you
yeah,
film it for me?
Yeah, my mom filmed a ton of it. I haven't looked at any of the videos yet though, because I'm nervous to see what I sounded like. But no, it was fun. It was actually a really funny and kind of nerve-wracking experience, because I haven't played a proper gig in like 4 or 5 years, really. I mean, I've done some like smaller things, but not really much. And so, yeah, I mean, this was a small thing to be completely fair, to be transparent. It was not a big event, but it's a beautiful venue, and I really enjoyed the people that came. It was like 100 people. I think it was just under 100 people, and the capacity for that place is like 84. So it was. Yeah. I mean, people were walking in, and they were like, "Well, we can put put a seat somewhere if you want to, but you got to do cash only because the fire marshal. You shouldn't even say all that stuff because
Yeah,
probably get in trouble.
we don't know where it was.
Yeah, I don't know where the venue was, but it was a really nice venue. They're capable of seating up to 3,000.
Yes, there you
Throw them
go.
off our trail. Anyway, but it was very, very fun. And first half, I had an hour. First half was music, songwriting stuff that I'd done in the past. It's funny. I have been so out of songwriting and finishing songs that most of the songs that I played were like, 10 years old plus, like 10, 15 years old. And so it was kind of fun in a way to revisit those memories. And I
Yeah.
just kind of laughed my way through the songs because a lot of them are like, really, really goofy, like breakup songs when I was 16 and I never even like looked at it.
Yeah.
Like a girl had never looked at me once, I should say, so it was like a breakup song with the first like 4 jazz chords I learned, or what, 5. And so it was really, and the only 5 jazz chords I ever learned, by the way. I was like, that's all I need. Got it. I've got what I want. But it was a lot of fun, and people turned up, and they were really kind. And I decided that I would pull the group, the group and or the audience to see what they wanted me to carve for the second half. And by the way, man, that really threw me off. Playing music and then transitioning from that into carving was so unnatural and weird to me because they're such different modes. I found out they're just completely different modes in my mind, and so it was like anxiety provoking for sure. But so I went up and started a carving. I actually didn't take anybody's ideas because it was all stuff like, oh, carve a usable wine glass. Everyone's a comedian in that audience, which honestly made it so much fun. But the stuff that people, one of my friends showed up, his name is Richard, and he's this maybe 80-year-old dude who's as snarky as they come. Probably the snarkiest man I've ever met. And he just, he just went on I'm like, anyone have any stories? And he's like, well, I do. And then he goes on for about 5 minutes. And I mean, people are rolling at his little stories, and our banter back and forth. And, he's like just a great dude. And we had fun, honestly, because of the audience. The back and forth, the banter was pretty goofy. And so, but yeah, totally felt unnatural. I ended up carving an owl, and I actually picked it up today and I started to finish it up. It's really giant, really elongated, like giant elongated owl. But
I like it.
well, giant for me, but that was fun. And I sold it to a lady in the audience, and she came up afterwards and asked if she could buy it, which was nice. And so I'm just I'm glad it's done and over with. But at the same time, it was like, oh man, I have to actually do that again with a little bit more momentum, because I still felt so rusty up there.
You could take a show on the road.
Yeah, more than anything, my wife had this idea. More than anything, what I want to do is do the collect. I used to do a collector's party, and part of me wants to, instead of doing that, just make a gig, where I just half the time I play music and the other half the time I carve, or maybe I just play a couple of tunes. If I maybe give me an excuse to pick up the guitar more often, because I mean in the last few months I've picked this thing up for the podcast. I mean. And I've almost never pick it up otherwise. And it's really sad, actually, to fumble my way through the first 10 seconds of every episode. It's like, come on, you can't play good for 10 seconds. But
there is a fantastic picture of you as a 16-year-old for music on the internet somewhere. Remember, I found that once and I sent it to you.
Oh boy.
It was a fantastic. I wish I could find it for the show, but
yeah, I probably could, but I'm not going to.
But no, that would be a show worth watching. That would be cool.
Yeah, it could be fun.
It'd be the perfect little gig.
Yeah, and it'd weed out all the people who don't really. It would weed out the majority of people who wanted to come because they'd be like, he's singing, and then I'd be like, yeah.
You could get a weekly spot somewhere. cool coffee shop, hipster place.
Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, maybe just once a year or something would be fun. But anyway, it was good. And speaking of the owl, I had this thought, and I kind of wondered if you ever considered this or experimented with this, but have you ever used acrylic pens?
Oh, I think my wife. Oh, sorry, I might be wrong. There's watercolor pencils. Maybe I
Yep.
used,
Yep.
but not acrylic.
I was sitting there painting this on with one of my like I don't know, Bic pen felt tip pen
Mm-hmm.
markers, and I was thinking it's actually kind of nice to use that, like to control it. And I wonder if they make it'd be easy just to pull a cap off and do that. I don't want to mix up and clean up and all that. And sure enough, I googled acrylic paint or acrylic markers, and they exist and they're pretty cheap. So I picked up a set. We'll see. Keep you posted on how that
I
works. But
wonder,
I'm gonna
can you use
try
it?
it
Can
out.
you use a wet brush to kind of flare it out?
Yeah, in theory, why not? It's a water-based acrylic paint.
That might be cool.
So I know. I'm kind of excited to try it. So, I'm assuming it has to be thin for it to come out of the felt tip, but
But you wouldn't want to do too much, just accents of color, right? Like,
exactly.
I hear you.
Yeah. So one question I had: how do you neutralize the red tone of the bark if you're trying to get a real vibrant color? How do you go about that? Because when you paint bark, there's such a strong like red brown undertone. As I'm
Okay.
saying that though,
You,
I'm thinking about it. Painters typically apply a burnt umber to the base coat of a canvas painting. So maybe there's something to that.
true enough, but you might be starting off too early too, because like
Mm-hmm.
I always put oil on before I paint anything, and
Mm.
that gives a bit of a sealer so that the paint
Mm-hmm.
doesn't bite in as quick and as deep.
Mm.
So
Absolutely.
you're already ahead of the game if you oil it and let it
Yep.
dry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, but I kind of use that to my advantage because you
Yep.
kind of want to still know it's wood,
Yep.
right? You don't want a solid bright color.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-mm.
You always want to know it's wood and it's carved. At least I do.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. What's the point of
yeah,
gumming it up and making it look like a piece of plastic, like a toy? So,
yeah, you don't want it to look like someone just punched it into their what do you call those things that make things out of plastic? What do you call those things? You know what I'm talking about. The 3D printer.
mm-hmm.
They use little plastic pellets, they melt them, and they just go. Bzz, 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 bzz. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, actually, I have one, but I've never used it. My friend gave it to
I
me.
could have probably by this point I could probably have 100 of them free, as well as laser
Oh,
engravers and
oh
every.
no.
Oh, I get emails every day. They'll send it for free for a spot in the video. I'm like, no, thank you.
How would you even work that into a video?
Ah,
Yeah, those people are they're always blasting out. One of them I actually forgot to respond to. It was a water. It was like a is it called a hydrometer? For you, that'd be something else, but like a moisture meter for wood.
yep.
And I thought it was really cool. And forgot to respond. Here I am, a month or two later buying one. It's like could have just said yes and then gave him my address, but I wasn't. I want to do a video about wood, temperatures and proper humidity,
Hmm.
or moisture content of the wood is what I'm trying to get to here. But anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much it. The spare room has been a source of a joy for my wife and I the last couple of days here too, because we actually redid that room with the help of young Joseph, Sam's younger brother. It's like 15 or 16 years old. We took this room that was pretty awful. I mean, this is one of the walls. I mean, it was like a storage room. The paneling's falling apart. You can see holes in the drywall, and
Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just it was awful. And so oh yeah, look at this. Look at this beautiful drywall work.
There you go.
So yeah. So anyway, my wife took it upon her. So she did a lot of it, and I just was up there helping her with stuff, and we got it to a point of looking pretty cute. So I'm happy. I'm happy with it. Let's see if I can
That's
find a picture.
the baby's room.
Honestly, yeah, probably. Yep. Here it is. Yeah, it's looking a lot cuter now. So
Oh my goodness, that's night and day.
yeah, right. So
Wow.
that's her little office. That's where she's doing. What the best part of it is, to be honest, Doug, I love having an extra room in the house that we can use. But the best part of it is that I can use the bathroom now because because counseling, you're not allowed to like talk to any. You're not allowed to
Oh,
like
I got you. Yeah, yeah.
be in the room when somebody's being counseled. So she would do it in the living room, and I had no choice but to use like the neighbors. But usually it was a gas. I've never actually used the neighbors, a gas station across. I've had to drive to the gas station to use the bathroom. Anyway, so now she can be up there, contained in her little room. I can make lunch. I don't have to skip meals. It's
There you
awesome.
go. Good.
Anyway,
That's
so
that's really cute.
yeah, so that's what's been going on in our world, man. That's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Yeah, same. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's been what have I been doing? I should have wrote it down.
Yeah.
Carving wise, I didn't do too much. Well, no, that's a lie. That's a lie. I did a little carving, an Alec Lacasse special, I call him.
Alcacast special. Does that mean he's on sale? Nice. That is cool. Is he
But
supposed to look like me? Is that why you said that?
no. But it kind of every time I
You
do
didn't
when I
get
say
the nose big enough.
yeah, no. But this is your style, and I couldn't paint it. I couldn't paint it.
I like
I
the
want
natural wood.
look at the color. Can you?
Yeah. No, it's just grainy. Oh, I can see some of it. Nice job on the beard. That fine detail is awesome.
Okay, but you know what this is? Maybe you don't because it's
That's
not.
not cottonwood bark? It's
That's
so
not
blurry, I
cottonwood
can't
bark.
tell.
I know. Well, watch the video because you may remember me trying this a while ago. These are those 100-year-old cedar rails,
Oh, no way.
right? And
Yeah,
remember I gave
cool.
up? Remember I gave
I
up
do.
on them because they were brutal
Yeah.
to carve?
Yeah, I do remember
And
that.
so I just bit the bullet and I said, I'm going to do this because I think I want to carve more found wood of sorts.
Yep. Yep.
Right? And bark is so expensive, and I can collect these here and there and all over, even fence posts. But the cedar, I just wanted to learn how to do it. But the trick to me, what I realized, it was still hard to carve. It was not with the grain, against the grain. It would always want to pull, and I'm telling, my tools are sharp. Like my tools are sharp, but I couldn't make clean sideways cuts across the grain. It was just the way that the grain kind of almost rolled. And I know people are thinking your tools aren't sharp if you roll, but no, my tools are sharp. But but also digging into the wood, I was so nervous, and I'll talk about this more later. But I went to the carving store and I bought a Kutzall.
Yes. Isn't that? Oh, it's blue.
It's blue.
Which
so
one
this
is the
isn't
blue one?
This is coarse. They have an extra coarse, but I thought I'll start with coarse
Yeah.
just to try it. Because my biggest fear, and I'll get to my other point in a second, but in this found wood, especially that's 100 years old, that's been sand blowing into it out in the field.
Right.
And on the same hand, I'll talk about driftwood. And when you get into driftwood, you take your nice sharp tool and you start going in there. And driftwood, actually, some of it holds little pebbles and stuff.
Yep.
I thought,
Yep.
I just want to get through that outer layer and get into the meat, get rid of all the exterior, and then I'll use my hand tools. And so that's what I did. And I'm tickled pink. I love it. like the color. Just I know
So
you can't see
cool.
it very good, but the color is such a nice, rich color. My bark is, I have the what's
Dark.
my bark? The
Black.
black, yeah, black cottonwood bark. So it's very dark, but having this light wood, I loved it. So
Mm.
anyway,
I,
big fun for
I
me.
I like the way it looks too. I mean, it looks like a piece of found wood.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I love it. I have another one. Yes, I got one. I'm trying to figure out. I'm still going to do a wood spirit on this one too, but I've got
Mm.
another one all on the board here, ready to go. It's going to be even
Mhm.
bigger, but with a real big tail on the bottom. So
Cool. Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
think what I love the most about all these things
Hmm.
is trying to figure out how to carve them. When you
Yes.
say take your 1 by 1 by 2 inch and come mark down a half inch, it's always going to be the same. But when you have found wood, it's like, what can I make with this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that. It's actually
I
like
think,
harder in some ways, and in some ways it's
but
easier.
it's harder. No, it probably is harder, but it gets your brain thinking
Hmm.
differently than from a square. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
So the rest of my story is then, of course, we went to the beach. We had beach day, and it was fantastic. But I was collecting driftwood pieces for that same reason, and of course, I was all excited. Came home, and the first thing, give me 1 second. Where are you?
Doug is looking for something. What he's looking for, we'll soon find out.
I can't wait to go back and do it again. But the first piece of driftwood I took, I got all excited. I think it's walnut actually,
Oh
and I
man,
was
that is
good.
a cool piece of wood. Wow.
But I got to
You
learn to
can.
think
Do you
better.
have my? My birthday's coming up pretty soon, Doug.
Well, here's my problem: is that I got all excited and I went too quick at it without really looking into the wood, looking at
Hmm.
it, and the first thing I did is I went through right here.
Oh
So either I
yeah,
move the face over this way and do the side, but think of what you can do with beards and hair and stuff. It's just
yeah.
I was so excited. So
It's such a cool piece of wood that you have right there. I have to show you what happened to mine. Maybe it was last week or the week before. I can't remember, but I was so excited about this piece of bark, and
oh
I forgot that it was broken. But yeah, not only did it break, but all that rot I found in there.
oh yuck, that's too bad.
Anyway,
Um, that's another thing about the cedar was although it was really hard to carve, like
mm.
really hard to carve, and I did a pile of sanding on it. Like I
Hmm.
really sanded that a lot,
Hmm.
but I wasn't afraid of it. Like nothing was going to break off. I can drop
Yes,
that piece. I can drop that on the floor from
isn't that
on the
nice?
cement, and no fear. You know what I mean?
Yep, yep,
Like I knew whatever I carved wasn't gonna. I didn't have to be careful. It wasn't gonna flake off or break or anything like bark may.
yep,
But
yep.
but
I'm
also
with you.
I want to go back to the trip to. I went to Chipping Away, the carving store,
Mm.
and
Oh,
I picked up some stuff there. And you may remember, you probably don't watch my videos, but I did a video back a while ago and about the size of gouges and stuff. And I was talking
size of
about
gouges. I watch
like
your videos, but I don't remember that one.
explaining the different tools and shapes and stuff like that. But anyway, make a long story short, I was going number one is flat, number two, number three a little belly, and I got to like number six. And I said, I don't think number six exists. And then same thing all the way up to number 10. I said, maybe a 10 is related to a six because I haven't seen either of them. They're off. But anyway, I was at Chipping Away and I picked up some number six gouges, which are a nice size.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of using 3, 6, 9, 11.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have 5s and 7s, but I think 6 is the perfect middle ground without the 5 and 7. So 3, 6, 9. I don't know what you couldn't do with that.
Yeah.
All right. But the highlight of my whole trip was they've got this fella in there who does all the sharpening with that belt unit that I have there. Their ultimate sharpening system they have with it's just a 1x30 belt.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "You got a minute?" He says, "Sure." I said, "Take me back to the back there and show me how you reprofile a tool on your thing." And he said, "Sure." So he gave me a lesson on taking a chip tool from a professional sharpener, right?
That was a good move on your part.
And he took me right through the whole thing, and it's so simple. I have made it way too hard.
Yep.
Like I switched belt grits all the way down, but he just did like 80 grit to make the profile. Well, first he flattened it right off, made the profile, and then just finished it up. But he only with it's called a Trizac belt. It's almost like I don't know how to explain it. It almost looks like a screen type belt. And he just does that, and it's perfect. Like, it's amazing. So it was a good move on my part just to get a professional show. And he has a little jig set up, and I'm going to recreate it. Maybe I'll show you next week when I'm done. But basically, you put, those little T-tracks that you can slide bolts in.
Yep.
So I'm going to put the sharpening system on that, put the T-track in there, and just make a little hole in a piece of wood. So you put the butt of your tool in there, and then you lean it over, and you tighten it in there.
You can
and
adjust
that's your
it.
angle. Zip, zip, zip.
Yep. I have a friend that he's made a system like that, and I'm this close to buying one from him. I've been this close to buying one from him though for the past 3 years, but he makes them, he builds them, and they're so cool. So he fabricates just like that. What you're talking about?
Yep. I don't think if I set this up the same as he had, I don't think I will ever use that other system again.
Yeah.
The what's it called? Same as you have.
The 3000, the Worksharp.
The Worksharp. I don't think I'll use the Worksharp again. So
yeah, I could see that.
No,
I do like what I like most about the Worksharp is how hard it is. That glass. I like that there's no flex, there's no belt. Things are gonna belly over with the strops and the buffers eventually, but it's nice to start with a nice flat line. I like that best, but I will say though, people way overdo it. I just did a video about I've been making videos for YouTube like all in a day for 2 weeks, and I did a video on sharpening knives, and that's what I've learned from the pro sharpeners. Exactly what you're saying is people jump from the 80 to the 100 to the 220 to the 320 to the 400 to the 600
and then
to the
burn
1000,
and then burn the tool,
and then they eventually give up and cry in their beds with their wives. But the reality is, I don't know where I was going with that joke. I guess I was trying to say they go way too far. But the point, then they go to bed is actually the right joke, because it takes so long to do that. Like your whole day on one tool. And really, I get it from a physical standpoint. I understand why you're trying to get rid of as many of those little lines, those grooves in the blade as you can by going to a finer sandpaper. But really, as far as I'm concerned with a knife, you go from 100, if you really need to reprofile your blade, 100 grit, 80 to 100 grit to a 220. And then if you want to do 320 and then polish, that's fine.
Yep. I'm gonna take you back a little bit though. That belt, you said you like having the hard back. When I switch belts, I have a hard back.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Good.
Like, they're not play.
Yeah, there's a support. There's a support.
There's a plate.
Understood.
There's a plate behind it. So.
Yep.
Also,
that's good.
Also, was I going to say? The bevels on file tools. Did you know this? He told me. He says, "Why are you sharp?" Like I was showing him how I would sharpen. He goes, "But you don't have to sharpen the whole bevel." He says, "Just sharpen the edge."
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Like don't. Why are
with the
you
micro
sharpening,
bevel.
polishing the whole thing all the time?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know, because I thought that's the angle, right? He goes,
Mm-hmm.
no, just do a couple degrees more than the angle and sharpen that only. I'm like,
I've seen that.
he's well, he gets paid to do that. So, but here's why too. He says,
Probably why he does it that way. You can do more. You can kick more out that way.
but well, you can still polish it. He said you can put if it bothers you, you can still polish it to match.
Exactly.
But he said
Yep.
file tools only harden to that factory, just past that factory edge. Did you know that?
Certainly hope that's not true. Because, man, I've got gouges that are below that line from how many years I've used them, and they're just ground to.
Yeah. Well, he didn't say exactly where the obviously it's going to go a little bit farther than the actual factory.
Yeah, that's
bevel.
all. That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah.
But because I was saying, so what's the difference if I buy a fishtail gouge? Then there's no advantage. I thought I had all this fluting to play with by buying a straight tool over a fishtail, because a fishtail, once you go down a half inch, you're out.
Yep.
Or your fishtail gets tinier and tinier to nothing, right? So I thought I had all this extra play. He goes, well, not really. He says you can still sharpen it, but it won't hold an edge as long. So
Interesting.
So the edge holding ability is only in the tip.
Yeah, I didn't know
So
that.
I didn't know
That's
that either.
interesting.
So
well-
I'll be less inclined to go grind the snot out of every new tool I have. I'll be thinking now to conserve as much of it as I can, right?
Yeah.
So
Which, yeah, I mean, you want to save yourself the time anyway. Always start with the polish. I mean, you know this. Everyone, people should, just because a tool is dull doesn't mean they need to take it to a sandpaper. Usually it just needs to be polished. Like 70% of the time, if nothing big happened, you just got to take it up to a strop, and 70-80% of the time, maybe even more than that, just strop it and then test it out. And then if that didn't do it, strop a little bit more.
Yeah.
If that didn't do it, then maybe take it to some.
I've started a little bit of a routine when I grab tools off the magnets. If I'm going to use them a bunch, they never go back on the magnet. They go on the workbench here while I'm working. So I grab down instead of out.
Yep.
But if I know I only use a couple cuts, I'll put it back in the magnet. And then when I'm done, without question, everything that's on the workbench, at least I'll just put on the cotton wheel real quick.
That's a good idea.
And
That's
then
a
before
smart.
I put
I
them
like
back.
that.
And then they
Very
don't get all
organized.
mixed up. I just don't want to have dull knives on the magnets. So I always want to keep the same level
Yep.
of sharpness. So, but anyway,
I think that's wise.
that trick, regardless of what I bought, hanging out with that sharpening guy for only maybe 10 or 15 minutes was so valuable. It was great.
Yeah.
So, especially
I like it. Those guys that have gotten it down to a science. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I was just saying, especially from someone who's done it for so many years, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's just so.
It's cool.
Now I'm going to copy his system here.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah. I get it.
And it's not rocket science. It's a basics. It's just simple.
Yeah.
Like he even had a little like a plexiglass square with a couple marker lines on it, like 20 degrees and 30 degrees.
Yep, nice.
So you can see through it. Right?
I love that. Yeah.
You just put
That's a great idea.
Because you have different lengths of tools. So there's no thinking involved at all. You just put, okay.
Yep.
So anyway, I'll quit
Really
rambling,
cool.
That was
That's
very
awesome.
exciting. Yeah. So there you go. So I'm all jazzed up.
Yeah, I can see why.
I feel finally like I've been off YouTube since before Christmas, but it's only been like this week
Yeah.
that I actually realize, like, I'm just starting to calm down
Right.
and refocus, So
Yeah, they say it takes about 2 weeks on a vacation for you to actually start to like unwind. I hate that.
yeah,
That's true.
that's the word, unwind. Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's good.
but by unwinding now, I'm like so inspired and jacked up. I want to just carve everything. So anyway,
That's awesome.
so there you go. That's about all I got.
It's awesome.
The beach was fun though. You know how many people are at the beach in early February day
Oh, in Canada, where you are?
in Canada?
Probably a lot, right?
Nobody. It's the best time to go to the beach.
For Driftwood, is that what you did?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
Cool.
mean, it was a beautiful day. We were there, and beautiful hiking along there, picking up little pieces of wood and stuff. But I didn't get as many as I wanted. I was stopped in a
Mhm.
few areas from the water, the way the water was in the ice. But
Right.
because there's like, it's hard to explain, but there's like drifts of ice, snow on the edge. Some
Sure.
places you could walk along the edge, and other places you couldn't. But
Right.
I wanted to go farther, and I thought if I had I needed a little beachcomber boat,
Yeah.
get a little tin boat, and just
Right.
go to all those places that people aren't walking to, and then just pop in, fill your boat, and
Mm-hmm.
go back. So there you go.
Yeah,
I'll become a beachcomber.
it'd be fun.
Where
So
I
cool.
live, I have the advantage. I can go to Lake Erie, or Lake Huron,
Mm-hmm.
equal distance.
That's cool.
So I can pick different lakes. So yeah, I'm definitely going back.
That's neat.
So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would. I like that. Yeah, that's a fun idea actually to get to collecting your own driftwood.
and up north too.
Super
Now that
cool.
I know that cedar is not impossible, I, I did break down and pull an Alec, and I got a mask because I was sanding
Oh.
so much.
Oh yeah, I know.
I could feel it. I'm like, oh, I should start wearing a mask.
Especially
You're,
with
you're
cedar.
standing right in front of your face, but it's right there too. It's not like you're standing down on a table or something. It's like
Mhm.
right in your face. You're staring at it. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, it took me only 15 years to start doing that. So, or more than that now. 16, 17 years before I even thought about it.
listen,
So dumb.
my lungs are they're gonna kill me later because all those years in trimming, we
Yeah.
never. You were a sissy boy if you put a mask on. It's the same with putting knee pads on. You don't do those things. That's not cool. And when I quit doing trim work, is
That's
when
crazy.
finally when the MDF became trim.
Oh, yeah. I was cutting that this week.
Well, we were cutting, like, we would cut hundreds of pieces of casing and baseboard and everything, and
Ugh.
that air, if the sun shone through the window, you just see it's just dust of this MDF. You're just breathing it
Yeah.
all day. So
Yeah,
I'm
not good.
going to pay for that, I'm sure.
Well,
But
it's not the best, but yeah. Well, it's important to keep your shop clean and have good dust collection in there. So for those who haven't done that, it's like that's pretty good to do that. You should do it.
yeah, it would be good. Dust collection would be good. I have a dirty
Yeah.
area that I have my sanders and stuff over there that I just.
Yep.
Otherwise, you just litter everything with dust. But,
I know.
and I can see it better now because another thing I did was I added more lights.
Oh.
So I got more lights again. So I've got so many of
Wow.
these shop or
Yep.
LED lights around here now. Like
Yep.
so, every
Yep.
station that I walk to, I just have another light. So
Nice.
I bet you I have a dozen with a 40-inch
Wow.
double tubes.
That's
Plus the
crazy.
original
It's
light.
really bright.
Yeah. But like I told my wife, I said, I don't have
like
them all on
three.
at once. Don't worry.
Right, exactly. I only have 3 of those things in here, and then I have. The thing is, I have a lot of like single bulb spotlights, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Yeah.
8, 9 of those like individual lights. So I'll like light a specific area.
The IKEA type.
Some of that. Yep, the IKEA ones I like. Yep, exactly. And then some of them are like lighting lights, like this sort of
Right.
thing.
Yeah, proper light. Yeah.
right? Like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, well that doesn't
So,
cuts like the moon, the sun up there, so you're good.
what's that?
I said, yeah. How many of my lights would fit? That's like having a sun,
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot.
and it's portable.
It's
So is it?
yeah, yeah. Well, it is technically, but the light comes off. But no, I mean, it stays on the wall. It moves, it adjusts, it shortens, and yeah, so I
Yeah.
can move it around,
Yeah.
a bit. But anyway, so I did a video today that yesterday that probably come up some in the next couple of weeks, but it's about the worst woods for carving. I thought that was kind of a fun idea. Just in my experience, I mean, because really, all it's opinion based. I'm not taking it other people's. I'm
Yep.
not like researching what other people hate, really. But my least favorite woods to carve, and yeah, I was just curious. Do you have least favorite woods that you've tried carving that were just absolutely terrible to work with?
Well, yeah. I carved a little maple figure once,
Mm-hmm.
knife carving, and that was brutal.
It's
Like
probably hard maple.
hard maple. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
like a rock maple,
Mm.
and it was so hard to carve. And my knives hate your guts. Like
Oh,
it's. But I used to always say, like I made a video too, best woods to carve, and I used to say like, if you're thinking about hardwood, take that piece of hardwood, whack yourself in the head till you forget about carving it. Go grab a piece of
wow.
go grab a piece of basswood. But I've changed it a little bit now because I can see the value in its holding power. And walnut is not as bad as I thought it was. I
Mm-hmm.
used to think, see, I've been using walnut. We cut a walnut grove down for a little subdivision, probably, I'm going to say 30 years ago. And we still have some of that wood in boards that I've been using. And I equate it to that. And that stuff is so old and dry and hard, but
Yep.
it's not. Like even this piece of driftwood, I think it might be walnut. I know you
Yeah.
can't see it, but whoever watches the video, I think there's a good chance that's walnut,
Huh.
and I'll be able to carve that. That'll be nice.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's fun. You'll
but
like it. The biggest thing about walnut that bothers me is the dust indoors. You know, like that. It's not good for you to breathe in. So I'm not as excited
if you're
about carving
for
walnut
power carving,
for power carving. Yep. And mostly, yeah. I mean, but no, you're right. It's worth revisiting some of those harder woods because the walnut and the maple and the birch, they're all in similar families. The birch is a little softer, and they're all carvable. I mean, and there's upsides to carving harder woods like those. Like you say, you have so much confidence. Each cut that
oh,
you make,
100%.
it's going to hold, man. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not going anywhere.
yeah. No, I
So that's a good
yeah, I'm
feeling.
rethinking all that. Yeah.
Mhm.
So my favorite
Anyway,
thing is that video. It drove me crazy because everybody was telling me you should try, or can you try African blah 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 wood, like no, and they go, well, I have some branches. I'm just wondering if I can carve them, and I keep saying, grab the branch and stick a knife in it. Like, don't ask me. Like,
try it.
I have trees that grow in Ontario.
Right.
All the states have different trees, and everyone's like, can you do this kind of wood for me? Because I want to know if I can carve it. I have it in my backyard. Well, if you have it in your backyard, take a branch, try it. Just try it. Like, any wood can be carved. Try it,
Do me a favor.
So,
Qualify yourself to tell me how that wood is. How about that? It's in your backyard.
yes, yes. Yeah, I've been saving some branches. I want to know if I
Yeah.
could carve it. Carve it. Try it.
Oh,
Either you
I'm
like
so
it or you
curious
don't.
to know. Please write back as soon as you try it out. Sincerely,
Yes.
Doug. Send.
Yes. Yeah. And you
Oh,
reply,
you have
but
it in your backyard? How convenient. So-
well, you feel rude saying something like that, but it's so true. Like, just do it. Like,
no, that's
what
not
do you, what
rare.
do you, what do you, what do you think? Like, so
Well, the reality is they want somebody who knows something about wood carving to tell them if it's good for carving. But the truth of it is, wood is this thing that each piece is different. Each piece behaves a little differently. Each tree, rather,
yeah,
behaves differently. And honestly, there's not a real. There is a science to it, but if it carves well under your knife and holds detail, that's all you need to know.
yeah. And
That's it.
some wood carves great green. I love carving green wood.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
if you the only fear of that is that cracking. But if you
Yep.
do some measures to try and mitigate that, then you
Yeah.
should be good.
Exactly.
Like I'm starting to learn with that trembling aspen. I believe I'm good up to about 2 inches
Hmm.
without any fear of cracking.
Right.
But I do know if I get into a log, if I take like I said, if I had an 8-inch log of aspen, I think I'd want to split it in half for a wall hanger. Get that
Yep. That makes
the
sense.
core, give it space
Yeah.
to breathe, and so it doesn't fight itself, because that's what a crack is. It's just the center drying differently than the outer, and it wants to. So if you split in half and take out that tension, it should be good.
Mm-hmm. Why not?
Yep.
Interesting. My friend just sent me this. He had some white spruce. Ooh. That could be good. Some white. Oh, he said, wait, white spruce? He said, what? White spruce. I don't know a lot about white spruce. I guess it's just white pine, right?
No.
That's not
Well,
the same thing?
similar, but not quite the same. No.
White pine versus white. Oh, maybe he misspoke then. Oh, okay. Interesting.
I don't know
Because
white
he originally.
spruce. I know of white pine.
Yep, me either. I think he meant to say white pine.
The white pine is great.
Yeah, it is. White and black spruce are difficult to tell apart, but white spruce has larger cones and longer needles than black spruce. How is he? I don't know.
Spruce is much grainier than pine,
Right. It is. Yeah.
right?
In my
Like
experience,
spruce
at
is
least blue spruce is very. Yeah. Well, it's in my video, so we'll talk about that.
well, blue spruce is just a variation of spruce. It's just just the color of the needles, right?
You think the wood's going to behave similarly?
As regular spruce, yes.
Hmm.
I know that you can have a row of spruce trees and have 4 or 5 blue ones in there of the same bat. Like, you know what I mean? It's just a selective breeding of to get all blue.
Anyway.
But anyway, yes, spruce is hardware store 2x4s. You don't want to carve it,
Got it. Right.
right? But pine is
It's horrible,
nice.
actually.
Yeah, it's horrible. But
Yep.
white pine is the best. Kevin Coates, fantastic carver. Only carves white pine. Little figures,
Yeah.
even.
Yep. So nice. It's probably my favorite wood to carve. I love carving it.
I don't have
far
that much
as-
around here that I
As far
can.
as being soft and easy, oh my gosh.
If I had access to white pine logs, I would be a chainsaw carver.
I know. I get it.
But no, I have dead ash logs, and I don't want
Alright.
to be a chainsaw carver.
Right.
All right. Let's move along to our filled, more flowing mailbag.
Mailbag.
Mailbag. And our bag is almost We only have one letter from Jerome.
One's
So,
better than
Jerome-
none, baby.
Jerome
Let's hear
has
it.
he has a lot of nice things to say about us.
Jerome's, that's a good name, by the way. That's a sweet name.
Jerome also did the Ryan Olsen class.
Hmm.
So But his question for the mailbag, and I don't know if I have an answer, but I will read it regardless. I have just bought a couple of old German character carvings. Pick attached. There's a picture. I
Mm-hmm.
believe they are around 100 years old and pretty grubby. What would you use to clean them without stripping the paint?
I've got an easy
Alec.
answer. 2 words. Dishwasher.
False.
Don't do that.
Do
Don't do
not
that. But you should.
put them in
You
your
could.
dishwasher.
You could tie to the back of your bumper and drive, baby.
I thought
Drive
you were
wherever you
gonna
need to
say-
go.
I thought you were going to say 2 words. My wife.
Sanding. Oh, it's the worst, man. I hire an assistant. That's what I always say. My assistant was sanding on those things for like a day, just getting the finish off. I say these things, these busts, these little figurines. This lady hasn't picked them up yet, still, but yeah, just to get the finish off of these figures. I mean, just took for. I didn't carve these. I just redid the face and then detailed them a little bit, but
Okay.
because they were pretty rough. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of painful to watch, but you know,
Well,
it just takes some patience.
That is the absolute opposite thing that he wants to do.
Yeah. Oh, he wants to.
He
I
just wants
misheard.
to clean them. He wants to clean his old carvings without taking any paint off whatsoever.
Oh, so don't drag it behind. So definitely don't drag it behind the car.
No, and don't
Now
don't
that I
recarve
understand.
it. Don't sand it. No, I
No,
think
if
you
you're-
can't go wrong with just a very mild detergent.
Why did I, in my head, when he said that, I heard he wanted to get rid of the finish, but not disturb the carving.
No, no.
That's
the
I'm
opposite.
glad because it's a lot easier than.
That would have been
It's
the
a lot
worst
easier to
advice
do
ever
that.
given on the Coffee and Carving Show. Not to say we haven't given bad advice, but that would be the
Yeah.
worst.
I still think in that case, don't drag it behind your car. Put it in the dishwasher. No,
Wire wheel. Wire wheel.
wire wheel. 2 words. Wire wheel. Do you have a Kutzall burr? Give it to your wife. What do you think, Doug?
Like I said, I think just a very mild detergent.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go crazy. You're not going to make them brand new. You want
Right.
a little patina is always nice. So
Yeah.
I would just give them a light cleaning with a mild detergent, and yeah, don't try too hard.
Yep. Maybe a
They'll still
soft
look-
bristle brush. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Well, you'll be the judge. You know the finish.
Right.
Like we can't
Yeah.
tell what kind of finish is on it to start with.
Right.
But if you feel that there's a varnish or something on it, then I wouldn't be afraid to
Right.
go out a little bit more aggressive. But if it's
Yep.
just like milk paint, that's a
Mhm.
different thing too. That would be very. I won't like much.
Yeah.
So
That's
if you
a cool
feel
question though.
yeah. Some of those, sometimes those old carvings. Sometimes I look at them and go, "Those are really, really cool," and other times I see them and I go, "That looks like a 10-year-old made it."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not.
Oh, yeah.
I'll say it again. I've said this before. I feel that there has probably never been a time in the history of the world that has had such great character carvers as right
Oh
now.
yeah. Character carving makes up much of what I think is the carving world. I feel like in some ways. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I'm talking about the old, like I said, the 100,
U.S. at least. Mhm.
the old carvings, and that. Like I think it's only improved every year since.
Yeah. No doubt. That's so true.
Like when I see some of the things guys are carving, it's just like wow.
Yeah.
So,
That's
but
true.
that's the way everything is that way. It only gets better.
Yeah. If you're doing it right. That's true.
So there you go.
Wasn't there? I feel like there might have been a YouTube question. I don't know what it was. I know we don't usually answer those, but since it's so sparse, we could
Yeah,
pull it up really
take
quick.
a minute.
Let's see. Ah. Let's go to the Coffee and Carving Show page. There it is. All right. I've got it here.
I'm riveted.
People tell me this a lot, that I've got such a way with, like a fun, fanciful way. I know.
My favorite part of the show is when you're not talking and you're searching for something.
And I'm gonna punch it in the search engine. People love this, Doug. You're in the minority here. And I'm gonna find a question. Okay, here's a question. All right. Okay, no, that's not a question.
Oh my goodness.
Should we do Doug reacts to mean comments? Doug does not seem to like this. The podcast. That was funny to me.
That.
Like, what are you talking about? Look at the thumbnail picture. Look how happy he is. Well, maybe
happy.
Doug is happy.
I was telling someone the other day.
Yeah.
No, every time I show a carving or a picture, they say, "He looks just like you." Mean.
What?
And I said, you know what it is? I'll tell you exactly what it is.
It's your forehead.
It's my eyes are set deeper.
Exactly. Yeah. Heavy.
And people always think I'm mad, but I'm not.
Yep. Oh man. Oh, global warming. Doug fix. What is it? What is this stuff?
I saw that Doug fix it. I can't fix my water table level. Actually, you can. I can de-water it. I could put 85 sand points around my house and have a pump running steadily and pumping them all into the swamp. That's how they dig pipelines and high water tables.
There you go. Man, I wish I could find...
is it me? De-watering.
No. Is it me, or are modern carvers becoming funnier? Well, I like to think so.
Well, I don't know.
In Doug's case, they are getting funnier looking.
We're here for 2 more weeks, folks.
2 more weeks, yeah. Great team. And then Alec knew exactly. Oh, geez, I'm not able to find.
This is the worst.
Yeah, it is. Isn't this riveting? Just dead air. Somebody asked what jacket I was wearing. It's from Costco, and it was a gift. I don't know. Somebody gave it to me. Who cares? Yeah, no one even knows what jacket I'm talking about.
Yeah, it has an Indian print on it. It had an Indian print.
Yeah.
It was what do you call that? He was stealing a culture. What do you call that?
Oh, appropriation.
Appropriation, right. Yes.
That would not sell in Canada, that's for sure.
But that's okay.
Man,
the Indian
right.
that he showed last week had a white striped shirt, so he's trying to be a white guy.
Right? No, man. Don't get us in trouble, dude. Alec, you're carving. Oh, Doug is. I don't know. All I know is I can't find the question. But
you're ready with your media for the week.
Yeah, I can do media.
All right.
My wife and I are. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
As much fun as
Wait, don't we need to have one note played on the guitar? All
media.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah. Media. Hey, Doug. Media. Today, my media.
You totally froze up there, so I don't even know if you're goofing off or not. So.
No, it was just me doing that. But the media, I've been reading. This one sounds fake, but I'm doing this challenge. My father-in-law told us about this. It's called the Bible Shred, 30-day Bible Shred. Supposed to try to read the Bible in 30 days.
Oh my
goodness.
That's
pretty easy. That's just something like, I think, 50 chapters a day. And so I'm listening to it because that's the only way I can do it, is listening to it while I'm driving.
You're not taking it in.
Listening to the Bible there. To listen to the Bible in 30 days is the idea. And
wow, it's a lot.
It's a lot to listen to. So
he's gone.
But I'm like 4 days in.
He's gone.
I'm here. I was just saying I'm like 4 days in. So it's been good. Yeah, it's a lot. In the Old Testament, man, that's a wild
Are you
Wild stuff
starting?
in
Or
there.
is it mixed up? Is it you do it chronographically, or is it just
Hmm. No, all through,
start to
straight
finish?
start to finish. Hmm.
Oh, you got a little tough slog coming.
Oh, I know. I already went through Leviticus. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's anyway.
Well,
What
good for
about
you.
you? Thank you.
I was going to recommend someone that I think I may have recommended before once, but I just
Hmm.
love Peter Santinello, and I want to make sure I'm saying his name right.
Peter Santinello.
You remember I talked about Peter and Titus? Remember Titus, the Midnight guy?
Oh yeah, yeah. I know that. Yep.
So Peter, I want to find him just so that I know how to say his name proper. Santinello.
Hmm.
Come on, he's got a newer video than this. Oh, I have Alec Lacasse doing Monday live streams.
Hmm.
You like that?
Thinking about doing that every Monday. Yeah,
You
maybe so.
should. You get a
Maybe.
great viewership on for.
We'll see.
No, that's good.
Thanks.
Anyway, Peter Santinello. Santinello is Santenello. So
Okay.
Peter is the most impartial. What do you call him? I don't know what you call him. Interviewer,
Oh.
personality interviewer, and he just goes around mostly America now. I know he's done a lot overseas before, but now he's just doing like cultures. And anyway, this last week he's just started a series in the Deep South,
Hmm.
and I think he's in Alabama.
Yeah.
And I find it so fascinating to watch.
Hmm.
Like he's like he just lets people talk. He has no bias. He has no agenda. He just wants to absorb, you know. So this is like cotton plantation, the history
Oh
of the
wow.
people. He's hanging out with the people, and they're talking about how their parents and grandparents and about racism, about all that stuff. And he just lets people talk. And he puts it together. It's fantastic. And I never saw a cotton plant before. So they pick some cotton, and it's pretty cool.
Wow. Kind of neat.
It's pretty neat. You know, a cotton ball is a cotton ball.
Really? You serious?
I'm serious. Yeah. So anyway, that's my recommendation.
It's
I
actually
love,
really
I
really
love
cool.
this stuff. So it's very safe to watch and very entertaining and educational.
Huh.
So there you go.